7:15 p.m. 21st.
An inmate at the Salinas Valley State Prison, Soledad, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Hey, Free.
Hey, how you doing, Rudy?
We're doing good today.
Good. Been praying for Wiley. Tell me again the details of what his condition is exactly. What happened?
Well, he had a heart attack, and he said that the main artery, I'm sure there's a name for that, the very big main one was 100% occluded, and they had to put a stent in it and a pacemaker. And they did that a few days ago, and tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock California time probably, he's going to get the second biggest artery. They're going to try to put a stent in the second biggest artery. So that's going to happen tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Well, usually that kind of thing goes pretty well these days.
That's what I'm told. Every time I tell somebody, they say the fact that they caught it before it killed him means that it's really good because they can try to fix it. So I pray that's the case, you know.
Yeah. I had in fact, this is one of my few prison friends, and of all sorts of people, he's an unlikely one to be a friend of mine, but he was a good friend of mine. He was a man that was the old convict type and kept his word and that sort of thing. And he was actually a Christian guy, but he loved robbing banks. He's actually very famous. There's a movie out on him right now called The Gun and the Something, or The Old Man and the Gun, or something like that.
Okay.
Anyway, it's about my old buddy Forrest Tucker, and he was in 1987 when I knew him well. We would spend a little time together every day at San Quentin. He was getting so weak and frail, and just like looked like he was going to die. Well, he went out and had a quad bypass at the outside hospital, came back, and then he looked even worse, like he had died. But about a month later, he was stronger than he'd been in, like he said, 30 or 40.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
He was as strong as an ox, and he was 67 years old at that time, I think. Something
wow,
like that.
I just looked that up. Forrest Tucker, The Old Man and the Gun, had Robert Redford, Sissy Spacek, Danny Glover, Casey Affleck. I mean, those are really big names.
Yeah, they are. I remember Forrest, because I had some dealings in the movie business, and he knew I loved it so much, and we thought I might get out before him, other than his way of getting out, which was escaping all the time, because he had done it 13 successful times, and he was the one that did that famous rub-a-dub-dub kayak exit from San Quentin. Anyway, he had negotiations going on with big Hollywood people all the time, but they kept burning him on his contracts and not doing what they said they would do, and then they had disagreements as to what, if they could Hollywoodize it with non-factual things and back and forth on that. So I remember all that going on. I'd seen some of his contracts that were in negotiation, but there was always problems and nothing got firmed up, or actually some things I think did get firmed up and they burned him and they just didn't follow through and make the movies and that sort of thing. So he's probably dead now, although he's full of surprises, so I don't know. That was 1987. He was 67 years old, so calculate that to what he'd be today. But I know he got himself on habeas corpus, free, reconnected with his wife in Florida, who he met while he was on the lam from an earlier exit, and she didn't know anything about his true background until he got busted again and got hauled back into San Quentin. After he got himself freed, she stayed with him despite all that, and then I know some years later he was busted. It was on the news all over the country. He was busted for bank robbery while he was hobbling with a cane somewhere there in Florida. So they probably put him away for good.
But
I'd be curious.
The internet says that he died in prison. That's what the internet says.
Well, that's what I say. He got busted robbing a bank that one more time, and I'd never been in touch with him after that. I heard about it through a mutual friend in prison, and then I read about it and heard it on radio, and I figured they're going to put him away for good, and apparently they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'd be curious to know what details the movie says if you get a chance to watch it. If you watch movies, and if that's the type of movie you like to watch.
Yeah.
Just remember, he was a.
Yeah. Aaron and I were just. I'm sorry, Free. I keep interrupting, and we got a little bit of a delay. Go ahead.
That's all right. We know that's a problem all the time with this delay mechanism. So, yeah, out of the 36 years I've done in prison, I probably call about 4 or 5 guys friends, and he was actually one of them. Most of them were innocent or something else, but there were like him and one other guy that were, real convicts. And I don't, of course I don't favor what they did in terms of their criminal lifestyle, but they were good, solid people of good character, the kind of person that was loyal and kept their word, and in most respects repented from what they'd done before. In the case of the other one, that was a close friend of mine who died many years ago, a lot younger than Forrest. But Forrest was one that I counted as a friend. He was just a good, solid old convict. He had actually done time at Alcatraz with, I think, Al Capone and some of those guys.
Wow. It says that he was born in 1920. Do you think that's right?
Well, figure it up. 20. Let's see. In 1987, he was 67 years old. So my math is terrible when I'm on the spot.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Figure it up.
Yeah, that matches perfectly. Yeah, so that's incredible. He would be he would be 99 years old if he was alive today.
Yeah, well, I'd be curious to see how and when and where he died in prison. So if you see the movie, just let me know. Anyway, that's something I just saw or heard advertised on when I was just listening to the radio in the background a few weeks ago, and it was a review, like a book review, a movie review, and I wasn't really listening to it. It was just going on in the background. Then I heard the name Forrest Tucker, and I'm thinking there's a famous actor by the name of Forrest Tucker. As odd as that is, I mean, such an unusual name. But there was an actor that used to play on a series called F Troop and some other movies he was in back in my day when I was young, and same name. So I listened for a moment, thinking they were probably talking about him, and I heard it was about my old buddy. So I perked up and caught the name of that movie. So anyway, interesting times. Be curious to know what happened to him exactly in detail.
Okay.
So okay, back to Wiley. Wiley is. I'm praying for him, and I expect he's going to do fine, and I sure hope he is going to be doing fine. And yeah, if you can follow through with the plan you mentioned the other day, yesterday, or whenever it was, to put me in touch with him and see if I can connect with him after he's he's through his thing and through his problems and back on his feet and feeling up to it. I'd be glad to do that. I really appreciate facilitating that contact.
I'm sure he would love to talk to you. He's very supportive of this prison ministry, and I'm looking forward to being able to hook you up with him.
Very good. I didn't have time to look up in your file the Steve Francis document, but I assume you probably named it by that name. So I'll get to it maybe tomorrow or the next day. And in the meantime, if you happen to be glancing over your index of the different documents you have from me or the different things you put out there online, maybe you have that under that title, and that's the one of the preacher, the Baptist preacher or Southern Baptist preacher, whichever it was that set me up for. I'd have been free if it wasn't for that. They said right in the parole hearing. Well, you got all the paperwork on it. They said right in the parole hearing, it was such a terrible thing because this is a man in the cloth saying something bad about me. Turned out he was total fraud and scoundrel. So
now, Free. I'm looking at your page now. You think it would have been titled with the word Francis in there?
Yeah, Steve Francis document. It should have been.
Okay, I'm looking now, and I can, when I get to my computer, I can actually search for that word. Is it Francis? Is that how you spell it?
I believe so. It's either Francis or Fransis. That doesn't sound right. So yeah, I think it's exactly what you said. Francis.
Now let me ask you this. Steve Francis. I'm looking at your page, and I don't see it. Since this was something this was something bad that he did, right? He set you up and he lied about you, and he was a person of bad character.
Yeah.
Why would I have put that on your page? It seems like something I would not have put on your page, So
well, no, because because I had all the documentation that showed that he falsified all that, and that the parole board denied me 5 years, and then from then on, just over and over and over again, kept denying me because of that.
I got you. Okay. All right.
It's sort of like a 3552. I put all the bad stuff the DA says about me out there, but then I show that he falsified it all.
I got you. Okay.
Francis.
Okay. It's just okay.
And not only that he falsified it, but that he was such a scoundrel. There were at least 3 or 4 affidavits or declarations, sworn under penalty of perjury, from witnesses that he had told the whole congregation to pray that something bad would happen to me, like a bus accident or something like that. So that
that's
I
crazy.
wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't be able to return to my chapel job. I was the chapel clerk in there, and all of that came about strictly because I used Yahweh's name and Yeshua's name.
Wow, that's incredible, man. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and the parole board, I sent you with that packet those couple pages of parole transcripts where the parole board says they actually denigrated me for having a non-traditional Christian view or Christian doctrine.
Well, let me quickly say that. Let me quickly say that I don't use the word Yeshua or Yahweh, but Wally Drake does, right? And Wally's my good friend, and I would certainly not wish anything bad upon him because he uses that name. So you and him will have a lot to talk about for sure.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting. That's even a stronger tie-in than I thought when I talked to you yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we probably don't have a lot of time left. I wanted to say a couple of other things, unless you had anything really hot topic you needed to say.
Nope. Just if you can help me locate that document. We're about 12 minutes into the call.
Okay, I don't know at what point I sent it to you compared to some of the other documents. I'll look through my index that you sent me and see if I can find it under some other, if it's some other reference to it. I know when it happened was a year, or no, maybe I don't know. It was around the year 2000 and 2001. Actually, yeah, right, 2000, 2001, but I don't think that helps you because I don't think we referenced any of that stuff by a year date.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention this real quick, though, before we run totally out of time. Kamala Harris, who you know how I spoke about on the one call we put out there.
Yes.
Her hypocrisy. She threw her hat in the ring today and is running for president.
Incredible.
Now, I have some choice words for her and her hypocrisy again, because she said, and I'm quoting this from the 6 o'clock news today on ABC, actually local ABC TV, KSBW TV Channel 4 here locally, but it's at ABC. She said, I stand for, quote, justice, decency, equality, and freedom, unquote. And then a moment later, quote, those aren't just words, and then I lost the exact wording from there, the verbatim wording. She went on to say, those aren't just words, these are ingrained principles in our virtues and whatnot. So I'm wondering if you might be able to hear that, get a recording of that, and get an exact wording of it, because I would like to use that wording to comment on, especially when she talks about equality and freedom and justice, because, she had not only the ability and the power and the authority, but a duty to order my freedom years ago when I sent her the 3552, and maybe she didn't read it, but she had a duty to read it, which, as you know, proved that I've been framed and that every single piece of evidence against me that the jury used to convict me of murder, which is the whole reason they've stolen the whole basis for stealing 36 years of my life so far, was all proven. Every one of them proven to have been falsified, fraudulently planted, destroyed, et cetera, et cetera. So she had a duty to undo this as the Attorney General of California. Instead, not only did she just put it in neutral and not do that, but she went...
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Like all the other attorneys general before her and the one since her, or two now since her, she actually fought against my freedom, fought against my parole release, et cetera, et cetera. So I have some choice words for her about running for president. I'm going to withhold most of them because I don't want the backlash while I'm in here that might stop me from getting out. But we'll talk more about that in my next call, because we're just about...
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
still there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're here. And yeah, I'm in.
Okay. All right. Well, it's going to cut us. It's going to cut us any second. So thank you for being there. Thanks for everything. We'll be in touch before too long.
Okay, Free. We're praying for you, and we care about you, and we look forward to the next call.
I know you do. Blessings to you and Aaron, and thanks for being there.
Okay.
All right, bye.
All right. Blessings to you too. Bye-bye.